Welcome to a very special Christmas edition of the Wonderbury podcast.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Saint Dave.
You can find us online at wonderbury.com.
You can find me on YouTube at Open Darkling.
And you can find me at the North Pole.
Very Merry Christmas to you, Brian.
Merry Christmas, Dave. Happy solstice.
Another year, another Christmas, another blizzard coming in right before the holidays.
Yep. Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
It's Mariah Carey season.
Oh, no. Oh, no. There is a reason why I've switched to doing all of my shopping online, and that is because I don't have to listen to that.
Yeah. No, I must spare everybody this week. But hey, what do two guys on a podcast that have both had their vasectomies have in common with a Christmas tree?
Oh, I don't know what.
Decorative balls.
Yep. Decorative balls. I'm going to refer them to that as now. I'm going to call them Decorations 1 and Decorations 2.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did take a cue from your playbook for Christmas.
What did I do? Oh, yeah. Your tree.
Yeah, the tree. I've got a smart switch, and the tree's name is Stupid Tree. which the 8-year-old finds is the funniest thing on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
She is constantly turning it on and off just to hear it. Although this year we tried a different tree than what we usually have. I think I'm going back to just my regular lights because this thing has... The best way I can describe it is seizure-inducing initial lights when it turns on, and then I have to go to the controller and set the lights to be something that's not going to melt my brain. Because I don't have epilepsy, but I'm worried about people driving by. And I wish I was I'm not being... Okay, maybe I'm being slightly dramatic, but it's bad.
It'd just be easier to park in the back.
It's bad. It's bad enough that I'm going to take a video of it just because... I mean, I'll have to put all sorts of warnings ahead of the video, but it's bad. It's so bad. But it's a nice tree.
Yep. Yeah, we got our tree up. I got it on a switch. We got our garlands all on a switch.
Nice.
We got our wreath. The wreath is on a switch.
I don't have... So call me a horrible person or whatever, but I think I put the tree up less than a week ago. And that's the only Christmas decorations we have up right now. It's been one of those years.
Yeah.
I mean, for those that follow me on either my Discord or on YouTube, you'll know that I've kind of taken a half hiatus from streaming for a little bit because of some family stuff that happened. And while I'm not yet ready to go into details about it, it's been a really rough year. And then obviously the 20th yesterday is this year the 5-year anniversary of my mom passing.
Yeah.
So Christmas to me is a whole different level of head games.
Yeah, it's pretty blah.
And that's not to... I don't mean to diminish the holiday for everyone. Because that's not what I want to do at all. I get the holiday. I enjoy it. I love having kids and seeing their faces and everything when gifts are opened and the family and the atmosphere and all that. It's just... There's just a lot of extra that happens around Christmas for me.
No, diminishing the holiday is my job. I like to remind people how Christian and washed Christmas is. And then how capitalistic it became after that.
Yep.
So
I don't mind. I'm not even every holiday has been washed one way or another, either by Christians or by the whites. And I can say that because I am one.
What's the difference though, really?
But so I'm not too like the commercialization of a holiday, fine. You know, I'm okay with that. I'm not sacrificing goats. I'm not doing all the crazy stuff. So I'm fine with all of that.
Well, it wasn't like needless sacrifices either. You know, it was the Yule season. There was a couple of different things where like Christmas came out of, and there was like Yule, which was like the Germanic and Norse traditions, and there was Saturnalia, which was like a Roman tradition.
And even those weren't very original.
Yeah. But it was going into the winter time where like grain was getting very scarce. And so that was when they would start to slaughter their livestock because they didn't have food to feed their livestock. So then they would start to slaughter the livestock and then eat meat. So like during the winter, that was the big meat eating time. So it was always, it was always a festival. Even they didn't have really good ways to store the meat. So it was always like a big party. Like, oh, we're slaughtering a goat. Everybody come eat and bring drinks. It also happened to be the time when, beer and wine would be fermented and ready because they would get it all in the cask and everything in the spring when they'd harvest their wheat and whatnot. But then it would, they'd barrel it and it would ferment and it would be ready to drink about this time. So it just became a natural celebration time of, oh, the beer's ready. We're eating meat, have a joyous time. And it happened that way because it was just like a natural progression of things. If there wasn't grain to feed the animals, better start eating the animals,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you don't want it to go to waste. You don't want anything to go to waste.
Yeah. A lot of people just think it was like ritual sacrifice, like blood sacrifices of the animals, but
yeah, they've been doing that. I think even most of the ritualistic and blood sacrifices and whatnot was mostly done for other reasons that have been lost to either time or nuance.
Yeah. Well, and even then, like the collection of the blood was for food purposes too.
Yep.
Well,
there's that, and there's also ways for preventing contamination. So you have a certain way to do something. It's like going back to the old clean, unclean animals in, say, ancient Israel, and why pork was considered unclean. Well, we now know that if you don't cook pork well enough or hot enough, it can make you insanely sick.
Yeah.
Being able to get pork up to safe temperatures for eating on a fire that you carried around because they were nomadic people is nearly impossible.
Well, that also was part of what their pork was eating too. Like because they were scavengers, they were getting into a lot of stuff that they shouldn't have been eating. Whereas now we're doing better at controlling what they're eating and making sure they're having good grain and good, they have good feed. So we can do better at having a lesser temperature at cooking pork.
But yeah, a lot of those I had one of the few churches that I went to that I really appreciated. The pastor, he would, instead of just kind of going through scripture and thou shalt nots, he was giving historical contexts to what was being taught through the scriptures, which I thought was fascinatingly awesome because I'd never really experienced that too much before.
Yeah.
And so hearing, unclean animals And then you start thinking about, okay, well, that's because of temperatures and nomadic people. Same with the mixing of fabrics. You know, according to Levitical law, that was not right. Well, if you're wandering around the desert and you mix fabrics together, they don't last nearly as long. Therefore, you're going through more resources faster. If you keep it all the same, then it lasts for a hell of a lot longer. And so, what they ended up having to do, because people haven't changed in thousands of years, they had to write into laws common sense bullshit. Which is why we have laws that we have to, you know, wear seat belts and all sorts of fun shit.
Yep.
Because people are too stupid to do stuff on their own to protect themselves. And when you're trying to grow a nation and you're trying to survive and you're nomadic people, common sense laws suddenly have to be codified because people are idiots. And I know that sounds really weird and really elementary and really just kind of, I don't know, different way of looking at it. But I think that was kind of, for me, it was an epiphany of, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, things like my phone keeps popping up every couple of hours, and it's like, it's going to be negative 30 with the wind chill this weekend. Do not go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you'd think that would be kind of common sense, but, you know, some Yahoo out there is going to be going, ooh, America, and going to freeze to death standing on the sidewalk.
Yeah, like me, where I'm out, you know, I go out and do donuts on the four-wheeler in my Speedo.
Yeah. You know, that might not be the smartest of ideas this weekend.
Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Some people ask me why I don't really get cold. It's because I have a lot of skins. I have 4 skins.
Oh, dear Lord. Well, you keep your 4 skins and I'll keep my 5 head. Oh man, Brian, what are we doing?
We're going full not safe for work this Christmas.
This is like I said, a very special Christmas edition. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. I understand the irony of that statement.
Do you want to while we're on it? Do you want to know the history of a mistletoe?
The history of a mistletoe?
Yeah. Do you know mistletoe?
Don't.
The mistletoe, like, normally hung like at the top of a door frame, and when you bump in, like when there's 2 people under it, you're supposed to kiss.
Is that the original version of hanging a sock on the door?
No. So the Roman Saturnalia festival, it started it was a month-long festival, and it started like a week before. It was the Romans, so if that's going to give you any idea where it's going to go.
Of course it was the Romans.
So it started a week before the winter solstice, because that was their like lead up. They're like, oh, it's coming. Like, that's their time. Like, all the slaves and servants and everybody was on even playing ground. Like, the slaves were all regular people, servants were regular people, everybody was just regular people. And like, mistletoe grew naturally, and it created supposedly it created like a natural kind of bed with the leafing. So when you found a mistletoe spot, that was your place for fornication.
Interesting.
So they would find, I don't remember if they're bushes or trees, but they would find these spots and fornicate under the mistletoe.
It would eventually be the trees into the bushes, and then they have them. Oh boy.
Yep.
Have we ever claimed to be family friendly?
I have for the first, like, I don't know, 10 seconds of the first episode, probably.
Because I feel like that might be a shock to some people.
I think initially we were like, oh, let's be family friendly. And then we jumped in and we're just like, nah, let's not.
It's kind of like I'm going to be putting out this week, a video on my site, kind of updating what I'm doing for 2023, because I'm kind of shifting gears a bit. And I try to go the family friendly route on my stream about 85% of the time.
Yeah.
I've given completely up on that now. One thing I'm bringing back is quack quack mother duckers.
Cool.
So that's coming, because I got rid of it. I was like, yeah, because YouTube kind of wants you to be a little bit more family friendly. You know, that's just kind of the way that works. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I just want to be me.
Yeah, it's hard to be family friendly when we're a couple lewd, crude motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, that's not me, and I don't want to force anything that's going to be fake and stupid, because then I'm going to be tripping all over myself to make sure. And there are certain things that I want to be kind of known for, and certain things that I just don't give two shits about.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those things that I just kind of don't give two shits about. So, each their own, I guess. It'll be fine. Not like I'm getting, at some point I might change my tune when I'm getting demonetized and I start losing money off of it. But until that point happens, who gives a shit? If anything, I'm trying to figure out ways to make extra money off the internet without having to worry about things like monetization problems.
Yeah. Well, if we get enough listeners here, we can get subscribers, get people paying us money to do this.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, because I switched from Twitch to YouTube, and I had subs on Twitch. I was affiliated, and I was just like, okay, I got to figure out what I'm going to do to kind of make this money back a little bit, because I was making money on Twitch. I had subs and everything else. And I realized really quickly that I could make money on Twitch by switching my subscription base over to Patreon.
Those weren't the Roman kind of subs, though, right? Those were...
No.
Okay.
No. And there was no leather involved.
Oh, boo.
Not from a lack of trying, but... No, it was, there's ways to do this without having to worry about being ad friendly and monetization that way. There's other ways to monetize. Other ways to monetize on YouTube. There's a whole ecosystem of ways to monetize without crazy ad stuff.
Yeah.
Eventually, would I like to do the ad stuff? Sure, why not? But I don't think I need to be as worried about that as some people tend to get.
Yeah. We don't worry too much about ads. Speaking of which, this week's episode brought to you.
And I'm not looking for a whole Raid Shadow Legends intro bit 40 seconds into our episodes.
That's what I was thinking about saying, but then I was like, I don't even want to promote that because somebody might think we have a legit link, and
That would be
I
so
don't even
funny,
want
though.
that.
Holy shit, that would be funny.
Yeah,
Could you imagine that?
we start.
Trying to hawk ourselves for that kind of shit?
If you guys are listening, having problems listening to our podcast, have you tried NordVPN?
Oh, the irony of us advertising for VPN.
That'd be hilarious. Hey Dave,
Yes, sir.
what's the best present you ever gave out for Christmas?
The best present I ever gave out for Christmas?
Yeah.
Is this leading into a joke, or do you honestly want to know?
Both?
Best present I...
What this kind of stupid question was that? Is this leading into a joke? What do you think I'm doing, Dave? I told you I had a shit ton of Christmas jokes. Hey Dave, what's the best present you ever gave out for Christmas?
I don't know. That would take me a while. But what was the best present you gave out for Christmas?
I gave out a broken drum. You can't beat it.
There we go. God damn it. If it wasn't early in the morning, I would definitely be drinking right about now. Because this feels like it should be a drinking podcast.
Yeah.
Today feels like it should absolutely be a fucking drinking podcast.
Yeah. Should have some nog.
Have something.
Well, you want another joke?
I always want a joke, Brian.
What'd the wise men, after they showed up with their gifts of gold and frankincense? Wait, there's myrrh.
But wait, there's myrrh. For only $19.99. That is. Yeah. Oh, did you hear that Chad Kroger from Nickelback? He loves doing nativity plays. Have you heard about this?
No.
Yeah, he travels when he's traveling, when they're all kind of traveling around, he always volunteers to do nativity plays. He's been a shepherd, innkeeper. He played a donkey. He even played Mary one year. Kind of mixed reviews on that one. But there's one, he's retiring, and there's one position that he's never acted in the nativity play. He couldn't make it as a wise man. I feel like I'm going to hell for that one.
Oh, God.
You're not the only one who's got these.
Yep.
Oh, Brian,
right.
oh,
Brian. Why is Santa so jolly?
I don't know.
It's the one time a year he comes.
Yeah. I knew we were heading to a weird area of this one now. It was only a matter of time.
Yep. At least he gets to empty his sack.
It's to empty his. Is that why he yells ho 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 all the time?
Yeah. Lines him up.
Oh, we're definitely getting in trouble somewhere along the line for this episode.
Yeah. So do you know where Santa came from?
Where Santa came from?
Yeah.
I'm afraid to ask.
I do not know. It's
I'm afraid to ask.
Not a joke thing, but like the history.
Oh,
Like, do you know?
now we're being serious.
Yeah, I was a
Now
lead
all of a
in.
sudden we're gonna go serious. You give me shit for asking an actual. Is this question serious or legitimate? You laugh at me. You tell me, of course, it's gonna be a joke, and now suddenly you want to be serious.
I used a joke
Jesus
as a lead in to
fucking
talk
Christ,
about Santa.
Ja. Jesus. What's the etymology of Santa?
Well, Santa, like most people seem like think it ends at like Saint Nicholas. That was a bishop in the
Yeah.
Catholic Church.
I've heard that. There's that theory. There's the Odin theory.
Yeah, that's the furthest I've seen it traced back to. Is it goes back to Odin, who would travel around during Yule, and he would fly around on Sleipnir. He was an 8-legged horse, and kids would leave their boots out and put some hay and stuff in their boots for Sleipnir, and if Sleipnir was happy with the kids, then Odin would put little gifts in their boots, which is probably why we step on Legos all the damn time.
No, we do that because we're idiots as parents, and we buy our children who are not responsible enough to maintain anything little fucking demon blocks because it's good for their creativity. I mean, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Legos, but we step on them because we're idiot parents.
Legos are for adults.
No, Legos are for adult millennials who didn't have enough of them as kids because they were too poor to pay $119 for a Lego set. Which, have you noticed that somehow everything else is more expensive in the world except fucking Lego sets? They're the same goddamn prices they've always been.
Yeah, that and
$20 for a standard, $60 for a slightly bigger one, and $140 for the big ones. Yeah. They've always been the same price. Inflation be damned. Legos has sustained beyond that. Don't know how. And
Arizona tea.
Arizona tea, I think they're printing a higher number now than 99 cents.
What?
I saw something about that where someone was all triggered or pissed off about it. Probably some snot-nosed kid who didn't know any different. I just want my... Well, I guess they did bring back the Sobe elements there for a little while. That was kind of nice.
Those were good.
They still are, honestly. If you can find them, they started bringing them back out again. They're not in the same glass containers that we remember them by, but they're still good.
Huh.
That was like when they brought back Surge.
Now?
Yeah, they're plastic bottles now.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I miss the old glass ones because they would like crackle when you'd open them up on the top.
Yeah.
Because the caps were metal, and so the seal would pop off. I mean, they were amazing. I freaking loved them.
Snapple went plastic too. That was weird.
Yeah, everyone's going. I guess it's cheaper or some shit. I don't know.
It's sad.
Well, you know.
Plastic isn't as recyclable as glass and steel.
Well, they're figuring that out slowly. There are some plastics that are recyclable. I mean, they're reusable. They're actually, let me see if I can find this. There was it a bacteria or a worm that scientists figured out would eat plastic?
Oh yeah, I was watching that. I actually saw a beer company the other day that when you exchange your beer bottles in and they reuse them, like they sanitize them and reuse them. And so you'd get beer bottles that have like little nicks and scratches and stuff on them. God,
enzymes that rapidly break down plastic bags have been developed in saliva of waxworms. So they're a moth larva that infest beehives. So they break down at least polyethylene within hours at room temperature. So yeah, there are a whole bunch of, like, I don't know. I'm guessing they've started evolving to eat that, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like, I'm all for if our next stage of evolution means that these little shits can eat plastic. I'm all for that.
I'm all for our next stage of evolution if we could eat plastic. That'd just make it all handier.
Well, yeah, there's that, but I don't think we're going to be able to eat plastic anytime soon. Well, we could eat plastic, but I don't think we could digest plastic. See, that's the difference between it, too. It's one thing to get it out of the way, but then what happens to it? I mean, turtles have been trying to snort plastic for years, but actually digesting it, but if the saliva actually breaks it down and can digest it, and they can use it not just a food source for them, but also use it as a cleanup method for us, that'd be insanely amazing. Because we have, you know, wherever you fall on this being, you know, the whole sciences of everything, we've got way too much goddamn plastic in the world.
Yeah.
And it is doing damage.
Yep.
Like, there's nothing controversial about that anymore. You know, there's, and especially like those little micro bead shits that they keep putting in soap and shit for exfoliation and all that. You get those little microplastic beads.
What? Are you still using a gel soap?
Nope. I switched to bar soap a long time ago.
Good.
I stopped using gel soap in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was a little bit longer than that. It was after I got out. So probably closer to my... I was probably late 20s, close to 30 when I stopped using liquid soap. It was a lot easier to use liquid soap in the military than it was bar soap.
Yeah.
Mostly for storage purposes, because I had to store everything inside. Everything was stored inside my bunk or my rack. So it's like the bunk would lift up and there'd be, you know, kind of like you would lift up the hood of your car or something, and then all of our storage was down there. So if you put stuff down there that stayed wet, it would cause all sorts of problems. So the idea was I used the liquid because it was easier to dry off a bottle than it is to dry off a bar of soap.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then because I shaved my head, I didn't have to worry about shampoo or conditioner. What I ended up doing was, because your head... So, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize. Even with a shaved head, you're supposed to still shampoo your head, because the oils still produce and it can still get greasy and it can still cause problems.
Yeah.
So what
shampoo isn't for your hair, it's for your scalp.
Right.
Conditioner's for your hair.
Yep. Which is why I only use shampoo, I think, twice a week, 3 times a week tops. So I shower every day, but I don't always shampoo my hair every day. I will shampoo my hair pretty much every other time, and I will condition my hair pretty close to every day. And boy, has that made a difference in my hair.
I only do my hair about twice a week.
I should do it more, but I produce a fuck ton of grease. So, like, if I don't take care of my hair, it has deteriorated away and peeled back some of the paint at the head of my bed.
Ooh.
I've stained out multiple pillows because of it. Like it's my hair gets really bad greasy
Should
to a point where I
talk to,
should probably see a doctor about that.
yeah, maybe talk to Christy about that and see what she says. She's licensed cosmetologist. She a hair person.
Yeah, I should probably do that at some point.
Yeah.
But, you know, for now, I just keep my hair nice and clean. I use something that helps with my curly hair because that's legitimately something that I have somewhat of a problem with now is now that I have hair, realizing how curly it is. And now I understand why my daughter gets it because her hair tangles up so goddamn easy.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like, it doesn't help that she likes to put blankets up over her head, make herself tense. But when she does that and she has those like fleece, micro fleece or whatever blanket things, that doesn't help anything.
Yeah. Just kind of rubs it in and like.
Yep. And then
I
it just
don't know
kind of,
what it is about the fleece.
yeah, I don't know either.
Specifically.
And
God,
like
those blankets and cat hair too.
every printed blanket that there is with any sort of a fun little printing on them that she likes, they're all that fabric. And it's just, if I don't keep an eye on her hair, it ends up just turning it into a massive mat. So, you know, that's always fun.
Yeah. Curly hair.
Yup.
Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
What's red, white, and blue at Christmas?
Red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Santa Claus's balls.
No, we established he clears that up at Christmas. It's a sad candy cane.
Okay. We're going that version of blue. I was going for blue balls, but
Dude, you should see this candy cane I've got hanging up here. It's a collector's item. It is in mint condition.
oh. I've never wanted to get canceled so hard in my life. Mint condition.
Yeah.
Oh. Why do we do this, Brian?
I don't. We do it for ourselves.
I know we do. I know. That's the funny thing about this. This whole thing is recorded just so that we can have a laugh. And if other people enjoy it, that's even better. But it's still I don't know.
I like it when Chris tags us in the chat and laughs at us. That's the best. It's because I know, and Mary texted me the other day too and said the Ford Fiesta joke was freaking hilarious. She's like, I'd never heard that. I was so good.
Every once in a while, thing one will just be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you guys did that," which is fine by me. I'm, if I got a kid that will do that, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, and I figured since it's the Christmas season and we're doing jokes, we better slay.
You know what? I'm about ready to leave the chat. I should have done a lot more research on Christmas jokes, but
I've been on it.
I guess that's why they call it Christmas cheer, right?
Yep.
perfect though.
Perfect.
No one else I would rather have absolutely dumb jokes with than you, Brian.
Right.
I haven't even looked at the schedule. Is this also the last episode of the year?
Yeah.
I think we will still record one more this year, but I think this is going to be the last episode released out this year.
Yep.
Like we'll still have one more recording in 22, but this will be also the year-end finale.
Yeah.
And all joking aside, I'm really glad we got back together this year to do this.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Like there was a few questions about it, and then I realized that people would actually have missed it. I'm really glad we did this.
We were standing outside at my place, and there was people around us, and you said, I don't know, maybe we should do Wonderbury again. And there was a unanimous vote of the people around us, like unprovoked vote of everybody just goes, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's
everybody
when I
around us. Yes.
That's why I was like, okay, maybe we actually should do this again.
Yeah.
People want to listen to us act like idiots for an hour a week. Fine. I also love how our thought process of, hey, it'll just be like 20 to 30 minutes went out the window real fucking fast. That did not last. I think that lasted what, maybe a month? As we kind of struggled to get our feet out from under us again.
Yeah. Yep. It's all right. We're just cruising. We had no plan. We'll just jump in and do it.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of keep an eye on it so we don't go, because if it was left completely up to chance with no moderation whatsoever of how much time has elapsed, we would probably be putting out 4-hour episodes. But I don't think anyone actually would listen to 4-hour episodes of us. So, I mean, I never know. They might. I think Chris is big enough idiot too. But I don't know if anyone else would.
Yeah. I don't know.
And that's nothing against Chris whatsoever. He's a lovable idiot.
Have to remember that next time we have him on.
Well, I mean, you have to be somewhat of an idiot if you can be that big of an Elon Musk fanboy. So there has to be some mental instability to be that big of a fan.
Yeah. At least he is also backtracked at this point, though, too.
Well, he's only backtracked in public. His tweeting, his time on Twitter went up and everything else. So, you know.
No, I
Speaking
meant Chris.
of, you think
Chris
he's
is
actually
backtracked.
No, I know, that's what I'm talking about too. He started paying attention to Twitter all of a sudden as soon as Elon Musk bought it.
Mm-hmm.
He cared two shits about Twitter before. As soon as Elon buys it, he's all about talking about Twitter. That's all I've heard him talk about for like a month now. God damn it, I'm going to get our number one fan boycotting us if I keep this up.
Yep, we just got canceled. One of our two listeners we just lost him.
Speaking of Twitter, though, you think Elon's actually going to step down? Because I have a fun theory about this.
I think he's going to step down and get replaced by Noel, which is definitely not Elon backwards.
No, I have
definitely won't be Elon with a mustache.
I have a much worse scenario that's somewhat serious that I think is going to end up happening.
Yeah.
So at the World Cup, Elon had a meeting with the Saudis, and the Saudis' biggest fan, Jared Kushner. I have this sad feeling that Elon's going to give up control of Twitter to Jared Kushner, who's going to combine and collapse Truth Social into Twitter. Which I'm trying to figure out if this is like a nightmare prospect or if this would just be so much more troll. Because on one hand, Twitter has gone down the hill and become a cesspool. On the other hand, I like the idea of Twitter's style for social media. It's not that complicated. And that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Like Facebook, it got insanely complicated.
Yeah, Facebook has too much shit going on now.
Facebook got insanely complicated. Everyone else has gotten just really, really badly complicated. And Twitter was always that low, not so complicated bar.
Have you checked out Mastodon yet?
Mastodon? No.
Okay. I've been poking around at it, checking it out. It's Twitter-like. There's no algorithm, just a feed.
See, and that's, once again, I'm not, how do I put this? I don't mind algorithms. Algorithms are not a bad thing, in my not so humble opinion. Algorithms are a great thing. I like being able to have something that will show me what I might be interested in, that based upon my trends. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I've been poking around to see if I can figure out how to kind of curate it into what I like.
Yeah. Have you ever honestly tried utilizing one of these browsers that does not have cookies, that deletes everything immediately, and try to establish any sort of a pattern when you search for something?
Yeah, I did that for a little while.
It's terrible. Awful. It is absolutely terrible. It makes you realize that algorithms do help you when you're trying to find certain information out, especially when it comes to things like, okay, if people are all asking, because there's a lot of horrible information on the internet, and not just like misinformation, but just trolls, bad faith people giving bad information about things that should be fine, especially when, for example, anything that has to do with the metric system. You can find some really, really bad information. And if without algorithms, however they pull up their, a search engine pulls up their results, which you can't do without algorithms to begin with. But do you really want someone that is giving blatant misinformation about measurements giving that information? Do you want that to be the most popular thing, or would you rather have some sort of an algorithm that goes 3,000 sites says that this is the proper answer, 4 sites say this is the proper answer, maybe the algorithm is right in telling us that this is the proper answer? I don't know.
That's a good point. We'll have to have Chris on and talk about. We'll have to do a Mastodon episode and talk to him about it.
Because decentralized, I get. Having no algorithm is going to be a cesspool. Once again, because as bad as Twitter is, and as bad as some of these other places are, they are not bad because of the algorithm. They're a cesspool in spite of the algorithm. Because algorithms aren't necessarily the bane of all existence and evil. That's just my 2 cents.
Yep. Huh. Well, I'll poke around and let you know.
It's kind of like my whole. It's the same as my stance on privacy.
Yeah.
And why I trust Google with my privacy, and I know a lot of people don't. But I like when I get in my car and I'm driving the same place every single day. My phone lets me know that, oh, hey, you're probably going to run into traffic here because this is where you usually drive. Here's a rerouting. Or it messages me prior to leaving for an airport saying, hey, if you're going to drive to the airport, you need to leave now an hour early because of X, Y, and Z on the trek down to Indianapolis. And I don't have to worry about looking that up ahead of time. I just now know, oh shit, I need to leave a lot earlier than I was planning to because there's a problem along the way.
Yeah.
You know, am I sacrificing up privacy, a false sense of privacy for convenience? Yes. And I say false sense of privacy because there is no actual privacy in any of this anyway. If you use the internet, then you have no privacy because of ISP, and I don't care what they tell you about VPNs. It doesn't do what you think it's going to do.
Yeah.
Because VPNs are held under the same laws and the same restrictions that ISPs are. So unless you're touring into every website, a VPN is just going to be one extra step of annoyance.
That's why I always like to point out to the people, especially when I lived in Grand Rapids, they were like, oh, you got to be using this and you got to be using that. And I'm like, you have Comcast.
Yeah.
You have Comcast internet. And do you have any idea what they track?
Well, not just that, but look up sometime the conditions and terms on a VPN and what it tells you, what they will share and what they can't share. Mm-hmm. They're very upfront about, hey, this isn't what you think it is. This is not a privacy setting. That's like trusting that incognito mode is going to hide everything from your work. Mm-hmm. Not going to happen. They still know that you're going to fucking porn sites. What incognito does do is it doesn't save it to your main browser history.
Yeah.
That's the only reason to use incognito mode is that when you're showing friends and family something and you type in P in the beginning of your browser, you're not going to be completely embarrassed. That's all that does. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's my rant. Algorithms are good. Algorithms aren't bad. Algorithms is why I know that I watch, depending on what I watch, I can find out a lot more really cool YouTubers or content creators that make the stuff that I enjoy watching. Why? Because an algorithm suggested to YouTube, hey, he likes this person, watches a lot of this person. Maybe he likes this subject matter and would like these other people. And suddenly, I'm learning more about DaVinci Resolve from people that I never would have found otherwise because they were suggested to me.
Sometimes it's a pain in my butt too, because, you know,
yeah,
I'd be like, oh, I need to fix this. Oh, I need to patch this hole in a drywall. Watch a quick video on like how to use that, right? Like how to do that right. And then for the next 20 days, I get recommendations on patching holes in drywall. Like that's something common that I'm going to be doing every freaking day. Instead of just like, oh, I needed that one time.
But I don't think that's a fault. That is a fault of... I don't think that's proof that the algorithm got it wrong. I think that's proof of that the algorithm still needs to learn what things are going to be temporary and which things are going to be needed more often.
That means Chris needs to do his job better with his machine learning.
And that's part of what machine learning is going to do. I mean, machine learning, and this is the other thing that, how do I say this? Machine learning isn't going to work unless we're actively giving feedback to algorithms. Every time that it wants that it pops something up that it wants you to take a quick survey, or does this look right, or all of that we all get annoyed with and say fuck off. All we're doing is just we're not making the algorithm or the machine learning any better.
Mm-hmm.
All we're doing is just continue to add and contribute to a machine that's not going to like and enjoy what we do, or we're not going to like and enjoy what it does.
That's why with you, and especially with YouTube, I always try to do feedback that way.
Yep.
It keeps getting better.
The other thing I have found too, and this isn't just a plug to please push like and subscribe to certain things, but when you like a channel, for example, the algorithm sees that is a little bit higher on the hey, we like this scale than just watching something. If you watch something, as far as I can understand, I can tell, is it kind of like almost gives it a score. You watch something, it might add it back to your watch later, but it will prioritize things that you've liked or returned to over just watching for once. When I started liking a lot more videos, I was able to start tailoring my experience so much better on YouTube of recommendations, because now suddenly I'm interacting, which is a much bigger deal than just watching.
Yeah.
And so, it's really good for YouTubers and content creators to like videos, which is why they're constantly telling you to please like and subscribe.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it also helps tailor your experience within YouTube.
Yeah. View time is the other big deal too. Like if you watch all the way from beginning to the end and like let the video actually end.
Yep.
Then they know that you were engaged in the whole video, and not like skipping around or, ending early or jumping past the first 20, 30 seconds or whatever. So I only see like one or two channels ever mention that, but that's another one, like watching through the whole thing.
View times are, but for the training the algorithm for yourself, view time will help, but liking videos that you actually like teaches the algorithm exactly what you're looking for.
Yep.
Which the only way it's going to get better is if people actually start contributing back to it to make it better. People think machine learning is some crazy weird voodoo thing, when machine learning is just you're bashing rocks together until you make something smooth. It is 100% trial and error.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think it's a disservice that we've treated AI and machine learning as some crazy computer voodoo instead of actually teaching people what's going on. I think that's a major disservice that the tech industry does, because they want to feel like what they're doing is indispensable. I get that. We did that for years with web development. And then suddenly suddenly the masses started realizing, oh shit, this is pretty fucking easy. We can do this ourselves. And then you have these programs that are, they work? Sure. Could it be done better? Absolutely. But are they willing to pay as much money as what people were getting before, when everybody thought that it was some secret voodoo? No. And that will never come back again.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a lot of fear that comes with not understanding what algorithms are, not understanding what machine learning is, not understanding what AI is.
Yeah.
And the difference between machine learning and AI.
Yeah. I saw a video. There's a game called Hill Climb Racing that the boy and I used to play a bunch. And I watched a video of it of somebody trying to teach. It was like a description of how machine learning works with this program trying to learn how to do hill climb racing. And it was awesome because it showed like a sample set. It would run 10 samples and go, okay, this one, we set this one did the best. And so that when it would kind of learn, like, okay, these are the things that it did through this pass. Like, let's try and keep doing those things. And it, and then it did a second run of 10. And it would, they'd pick out the best one and say, okay, this one. And then, like, it just keep going and going until I kind of figured out how to play the game on its own.
Yep.
And that was like my basic primer to machine learning.
Yeah, it's trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
Is it smart? Sure. But it's no more smarter than a toddler with a bucket of shapes trying to slam it through a hole.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't fit, try a different hole. It doesn't fit, try a different hole. It doesn't fit, try a different hole. Oh, this one fit.
Doesn't fit, put it in the square hole.
Yep.
If it doesn't fit, put it in the square hole.
Well, and that, as much as people like to joke around and treat that particular video as a as kind of a OCD or a triggered, or this just doesn't sit well with my brain. It's a perfect example of kind of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If it works, it's going to work, and until you teach it otherwise, it's going to stay working because they have an end goal. They have a point A and a point B, or a point A and a point Z. And so then how many letters do you have to go through to get to the end? And which pathway is it going to take?
Yeah.
And like water, it's going to go the path of least resistance.
Yeah, the machine says we have a shape, put it in a bucket. And if it automatically decides that, oh, they just all fit in the square hole, guess what? It's just going to default to the square hole every time, and it won't learn that they have its own shape to go in.
Yep.
Whereas you have to go in and like actually teach it, oh, hey, this shape goes with this shape. And yeah.
Well, good old machine learning.
Yep. Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
What animal is the best at wrapping gifts? A velociraptor.
Okay. I was trying to, I'm sitting here, velociraptor. That wouldn't that though be like wrapping gifts at high speeds?
Yeah.
Because it would be a velocity raptor.
How do you think he gets them all done in one night? Do you know I can always predict what's inside a Christmas present? It's a gift.
It's a gift. The gift that keeps on giving. Well, Brian.
Yeah.
It's that time again.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year to everyone as well, because while this is releasing on Christmas, it will also be 2023 by the time anyone listens to this. No, it won't.
No,
it'll be Christmas Day.
This one comes out on Christmas. Yeah.
But it will be the last one of 2022.
Yeah.
So
you'll hear us again in 2023.
I hope everyone's 22 was good. As good as mine, as good as yours. Yeah. Merry Christmas to one. Merry Christmas to all.
Yeah, and as Santa says on Christmas morning, that's a wrap.